Hi guys, welcome back. It is Luby here. We are doing a quick update. It's been 7 weeks since I've been in school. I just wanted to go over a little bit of everything and talk about my personal experience. If you guys have any questions, any advice, I would really appreciate it if you left it down in the comments. Liking, sharing, subscribing, it really helps me as well. So please go ahead and do that before we get into the video. I do want to say to those that have not been here before, I am completely blind and I don't have any editors, and I'm horrible at technology, so I don't really edit these videos. So there's going to be a lot of little bits and bobs that could have been edited out but will not be, so I hope that doesn't bother you too much. So let's get into this video. So we're going to talk about navigating the campus, and before we get into that, I do want to mention that the lighting might be a little off because the sun and the light and stuff is coming from behind me, and I believe that makes a weird like shadow or darkening in certain areas. I don't know, I don't understand it, but hopefully it's not too bad. But anyways, let's get into the video. Navigating the campus, as you guys know, or if you don't know, that was one of my biggest challenges even before starting the semester, because I didn't get orientation and mobility. In fact, I'm just gonna meet with the instructor for the first time next week, and that's like 8 weeks into the semester, and I asked for this service back in March, and usually they're really good at it. I don't know what's happening this year, but I do work through DOR program. I have my Starbucks here. When do I know, right? I have a pumpkin spice latte iced with no whipped cream. But anyways, not important. So my wonderful friend Kimberly here went with me several times before the semester began, and I did vlog that journey. So if you guys want to go watch that, I do have a whole playlist on my university experience. If I remember, I'll link that in the description. Excuse me. So for the first 2 weeks, I was constantly on FaceTime with my mom, my sister, with Kimberly, with Be My Eyes, because there was no way for me to do it, because it's such an open, wide, sprawling campus with no real landmarks or anything that would really help me. I had to make and find my own, even the smallest details. I have gotten messages asking like how is that a landmark, like there could be any slopes. So I need a pattern, a specific pattern, and all of them put together become my landmarks. If I don't find one and I find another, then that means I'm probably not going the right way. But constantly calling somebody as soon as I left the classroom, as soon as I got of access, actually started not happening quite as often. On the last day of the 3rd week, I was so proud of myself because I left my classes without calling anyone. I think that week I also went to the library by myself, and I never really practiced that, and it was really exciting. I was very proud of myself, and that's something that's really important, being proud of yourself even if you achieve the smallest things. For me, navigating like traveling is a major challenge. I have the skills, but I'm so not confident in them, and I'm so afraid of everything that it kind of makes it bigger than it really is. But it's my experience, my journey, and my fears, so I just have to work through them, and just wait for those moments where I get so proud of myself. I would say after the 3rd week, the only time I really needed assistance was when I first arrived, getting off that off access, getting onto campus. That main walkway that I have to get to the library is challenge, and it's always going to be a challenge, to be honest. I'm always going to get lost. Parts of the walk where I thought I'm super confident in, the other day I got disoriented. I'm like, oh, this is the wrong way. And Kimberly's like, no, you're the right way, whatever. But yeah, so navigating, I think it's gonna get as it's gonna get. This week I was on campus and I didn't get any assistance. I got clarification of where I was by somebody that was already on campus that was walking by me, but I didn't call anybody, and that was a major achievement for me in itself. So navigating is as good as it's gonna get, and I am getting more comfortable with asking for help with people around me, and I am getting used to, or I'm not all the way there, but I am starting to get used to the idea of getting lost and it being okay, and problem solving. And I've done that several times, and once again, so proud of myself. Okay, so we're gonna talk about the professors. I don't know if I mentioned in the vlogs, but my first professor and my last professor of my in-person classes, I was feeling a little bit off. I was unsure of how it was gonna go, but the first professor, who seemed unapproachable, very strict, very stern, very unusual for me to experience that kind of personality, ended up being really sweet. I think it's just the vibe she gives out is just a little bit scary, but she is super nice. She's one of the few professors that's ever made me part of a conversation outside of class. Like, we were there like 10 minutes early and we were just sitting down, and she was like talking to everybody that was there. It was only like 3 other people, but she brought me into the conversation, and the other students started asking me questions, and that was the first time that's ever happened, and it felt so wonderful. I love her material. She has a lot of great videos to watch, and I'm just very excited to be part of her class. There is a change. She is going through some things, so right now her class is up in the air. Right, for the past 2.5 weeks it's been online. She says she's gonna try to have some in-person classes, but she'll let us know a week before what the next week is going to be looking like. So my second professor of the day, Kimberly had her before, so I already knew she was going to be great. She's amazing. She has everything very well organized, very well labeled. You are always aware of what's going on. You know what's due, you know what's what, and I really appreciate that, because school's already hard. So I don't have much to say about her. The third professor of the day, in-person classes, as I said, school's already hard, and when you don't have an organized professor, it gets even harder, and this is one of them. I've never had such a disorganized professor before. She contradicts herself a lot. Like, she says one thing in class, and then in the Canvas it's another. She assigns extra stuff without meaning to, and she's like, oh my god. And then one of the things that really bothers me about her is that she will spend one whole class period grading people's work, and no, I don't appreciate that. I'm like, I'm not learning anything new. I could have been doing homework or doing reading during this time, you know. So my online class professor, who we're gonna call the fourth one, or Professor D, she's amazing. She, at the moment I reached out to her, she was, let's make a Zoom appointment. She was brainstorming with me and was trying to do everything she could to make this an easier, a better experience for me. And she's really aware of my needs and the fact that I'm completely blind. She was 100% honest. She's like, to her knowledge, she's never worked with somebody who had visual impairments or completely blind. So she was asking all the right questions, and I just really appreciated her candor and her I won't say curiosity, but her questions were very well asked and appreciated. So yeah. Okay, so we're going to talk about accommodations and OSD. I want to start by saying that I dropped the ball with OSD. After my first appointment with them, I kind of stopped communicating. It's just that I had the appointment with them the first week. And as soon as it got started, it really got started, and it got so hard. I'm like scrambling to catch up with all the assignments, or keep up, not catch up, to keep up with all the assignments. And they weren't my priority, to be honest. On the second week of the semester, I did end up getting sick, literally the day that I had an appointment with them, because OSD schedules you with somebody there to do a tutorial of their website, of your own portal with them. And that's really well appreciated, and I'm glad they do that. But I really got sick, and I was down and out for a bit, like I think a little over a week. I missed Thursday. That was the first Thursday I missed, because that was the second day I was feeling sick, and that was the worst day. By the time the third week came along, I was feeling good enough to go to campus. But so far, I don't have any complaints with OSD. They're really nice. They are very communicative. There was a bit of confusion about an appointment with technology, which I denied, but then I'm like, I should have just accepted it. But we will see if I reschedule that or not. For accommodations, this is where I want to be really honest. As I said, I had the appointment with OSD. I did all that. I thought I did everything they asked me. I even had Kimberly help me. We went through it all. But apparently I missed a step. There was a step where I had to go back into my portal after I signed everything and check everything off and request it. And I didn't know that. I thought I did that already. And I didn't do that until last week, which is the 6th week of the semester. And even with not having my accommodations letter, all my professors have been fantastic. The thing that they legally could not give me was extra time, like with the quizzes and exams. But with everything else, they were like, no, you know what? Some other students also get extra time. So don't worry, just be communicative and let me know if you need extra time with assignments. Like, tell me if there's anything that isn't accessible. So they were on it from the beginning. One of my professors even sent out an email about having a note taker. For those that don't know, if you are at a Cal State LA, I don't know if it's all Cal State LAs, but definitely Cal States, I should say. But definitely in Cal State Los Angeles, they have a thing where you could get community hours, or you can get paid for taking notes for an individual that needs it. So I think that's pretty cool. Maybe you should look that up, ask a professor if they have that service, or if somebody needs it, and if it will fill in some community hours, or you can get paid. That'd be cool. What else? So yeah, everything is pretty accessible. I'm enjoying it, so nothing much to complain. They should be complaining about me, but they didn't. They were really nice. So we're gonna talk about study schedules and websites and apps that are used within classes. So we use Canvas, and we use so all my classes use Canvas, and then each class has their Zoom link to each of their class portals in Canvas. I've always used those, so that's nothing new. It's slightly different from the college. It's like, I would say, like slightly different setup, but not enough where I'm like, oh my god, I need to really know how to use this app. No, it's just slightly different. There's like more I don't know how to describe it, but it's slightly different. So let's see, I only have one class, which is the online class where we reuse different things. So in child development, we use an outside source website called Achieve. And Achieve, I want to applaud them because they have done their best to make everything accessible. images, graphs, diagrams. They all have descriptions, which I absolutely enjoy. Each of their videos, no matter if it's just fantastic, because there's options for audio description, there's descriptions for captions. It's very accessible and I absolutely love it. I get through the activities really fast. There are assignments in there. It took me a bit to understand how to use it, but it's definitely accessible. As I said, everything is described. There's not one thing that I've noticed, at least, that isn't accessible. And then for that same class, during class, we use a thing called iClicker. That's also very accessible. You just download the app. It was a little bit challenging for me to connect everything, because you do have to connect everything to Achieve. And you can download your textbook from Achieve. I bought the e-textbook because I'm like, it doesn't make sense for me to spend more money on a hard copy if I already have the e-textbook, you know. So everything's accessible. As I said, the iClicker is definitely accessible. I wish I would have recorded me connecting it, because it was slightly hard. It took me like 3 days to finally do it. I had my sister try to help me. I had Kimberly. I don't even know how I finally figured it out, but it happened. It finally went through. And then the app, because you download the app for iClicker, that's accessible. You just tap on your class and then you wait for her to open it, and you just tap on join, and you just wait for her to ask a question, and then you tap on, because it's like a multiple choice type of thing. You just type on it, tap your answer, and that's it. So it's really easy. The textbook, again, I downloaded the app, the Macmillan app, Vital Source or whatever it's called, and really easy to navigate. It has a button at the bottom where you can type in the page number you want. It has videos embedded into it, and again, you can tap on audio description and then press play. It's just fantastic. I've never had such an accessible experience with the class. I have no complaints here. The quizzes are easy to take. The units tests are easy to take. It's just fantastic. So now let's talk about the schedule. I'm going to give you guys my outline of my schedule. It took me about 4 weeks to find my stride, to settle on this specific timing. And just because I'm telling you these hours that I work doesn't mean that I don't overwork or add work. I do, like, if I didn't finish a reading, I will read on Access. I actually read a lot on Access because my Access rides are anywhere between 50 to 2.5 hours. So 50 minutes to 2.5 hours. So I have a lot of time there to spare to read a book in the mornings. I never read them on the way home, because usually that's when I just spend time to relax and wind down from the busy day. So on Mondays, I work from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. That's when I read any materials that I need to read for that specific week, mostly for my first and second in-person and third in-person classes. That's when I do a lot of their reading. Excuse me. And then 5 to 7, I do any assignments. The assignments that I have due for the in-person classes are usually answering questions or reflections of the readings or videos, anything that we had to do that week. So it's really easy. On Tuesdays from 6 to 8, I do more reading or any assignments I didn't finish for that week. On Wednesdays from 12 to 3 p.m. I read and do the activities for the online class, which is that same day. It starts at 3 p.m. So I get all of that done that afternoon. On Thursdays, from 6 to 8 p.m., I finish any assignments that are due that week. On Fridays, from 1 to 4 p.m., I start the readings of the online class, which is child development. I start the chapter reading. Usually that's really long. It has about anywhere between 4 to 8 sections. This chapter 6 had 9, I believe. So I'll do at least half of that, and then I'll start any reading from any other classes. If I finish on time, if I get halfway through the book by 3, I finish the last hour with any other readings for any other classes. So every Friday I do readings for the next week, so I can be ahead. So that's why it's really easy for me to only work a few hours a day. So that's what I do. As I mentioned, if I do have any extra reading that I didn't finish, I will do it on Access. I really try to avoid the weekends so I can have 2 days off, because I really cram during the weeks. On Fridays, I sometimes work in the mornings as well. If I have a lot of assignments to do, if I have big assignments like this week, I do have several big assignments, which I'm going to be doing today and tomorrow. Today's Thursday, by the way. And I have like 2 big assignments due tomorrow. So yeah, that's my schedule for now, and hopefully it keeps going that way. Okay, so I had a couple random thoughts in the past 7 weeks I wanted to talk to you guys about. I will say this experience hasn't been what I thought. I feel like this really isn't a first semester. I feel like this is just like a practice run. Because even though I've been keeping up with my assignments, I haven't been always going to class, and this is where I have disappointed myself and where I'm frustrated with myself. Week 2, 3, and 4, every Thursday of those weeks I did not go to campus. Week 4 I didn't go because of the earthquake. It really was messing with my mind, and I was full of stress and anxiety, and I'm like, I'm not going to be productive if I go to campus. I'm going to be stressed out. All these horrible scenarios are going to keep filling my head, so I'm not going to be productive. I'm going to stay home and be productive here. And I got a lot of things done. I caught up because I think I was a little behind in the reading, so I caught up and I submitted everything I needed to, so I was productive. As I said, the second week of school I was sick. The third Thursday, Access completely left me. I've had 2 problems with Access with that. Excuse me. So yeah, and then not so serious. I have this thing of looking at my to-do list on Cabins and feeling so relieved, and that satisfaction of it saying, congratulations, your list is empty, now take a relax, or whatever it says. But all of my professors upload their assignments a week prior, but they don't unlock them, so I never get that satisfaction of seeing that to-do list empty, and that's really frustrating. And I'm like, can you guys just not do that? But anyways, by the way, I have my Apex here. I'm following notes so I don't like forget anything. So another thing is, as you guys know, I'm a scaredy cat. I let my fear get to me sometimes, and I will avoid anything and everything that will stress me or give me a bit of nerves. But this time I have not. Like, it used to be so bad, you guys, that I would avoid bathrooms at all costs. I don't like public bathrooms to begin with, but avoiding bathrooms all day when I was in school, because I would be embarrassed to like push on a door if somebody was in there, even though I wouldn't open it because it was locked. It was just weird things that would make me embarrassed, and I would avoid it. But I have not this time, because I'm like, I'm literally away from home for about 10 plus hours on the days that I go to campus. And there's been a couple of times that I've gone into Starbucks all by myself. Of course, I have Kimberly on the phone just to make sure that I'm following the line. I have spoken to people there in line. So I'm very proud of myself that I've been going in there. The last time I went in there, I was in line for like 15 minutes, but I was still not even half the way there. And my access was already there, so I just got out of line. But I'm still proud of myself that I went in there and I was brave enough to do it. And I know for a lot of you guys are like, what the heck is just going into Starbucks? But I really don't like doing that. I'd rather not eat than get in a line. That's how bad it is. Okay, so this last part is going to be a little bit more serious, and I've never experienced this. I've always been ignored by professors, teachers, by students, in person, always, and it's never bothered me because it's something I grew up with. But I've never been avoided in the sense where somebody would sit down next to me and then like leap away or something, and I started to think that I smelled bad or that I was dirty, because in my first and second in-person classes, it started happening a lot. Almost after like the first week, it started happening every time I would go there, and it was really starting to really bother me. And I'm like, don't let it bother you. You know, it has nothing to do with you. You know you don't smell. You know you're not dirty. But it almost felt like I was contagious or something. It like, especially in my second class, they would like start sitting down and then they would like hurry away, like, oh crap, you know, like I don't know. I don't know what they would see or what, but they would like, I really felt contagious. And then in my first class, every time we would be separated into groups, and I knew that the person beside me and the two people ahead of me were in my group, but the person beside me would always get up and move to the table in front of the people in front of me, and so they would turn their backs on me and leave me out of the group. And it would be, you know, I've always been avoided in groups like that, but they never actively got off their seats and moved away and turned their backs on me. And it really got to me. And Kimberly was like, oh, you should have raised your hand and said, excuse me, professor, where's my group? You know, to make them embarrassed. But to be honest, that would made me more embarrassed, and I don't know, I wish I was more brave and more bold to be doing that kind of stuff, but I wasn't. And that's the class where we're online for now. And then the second class, last week on Thursday, somebody sat next to me. I participated in the group conversation. I was red as a tomato the whole time. I literally can feel steam rising from my face, but I did it. I was so proud of myself. And the same person sat next to me on Tuesday, and I was so proud that I spoke up. And I hope it gets easier, and I hope it just gets better from here. But yeah, that's it, you guys. I don't know what else to talk about. As I mentioned, if I didn't cover anything you guys wanted to know, please let me know, and I'll definitely do an update at the end of the semester, and I'll include those questions. Thank you guys for stopping by. I hope you guys were able to get something done, any chores, had a snack. Yeah, so we will see you guys on the next one.